Welcome to the Tech Disruptors podcast. My name is Darren, and this is
Jason with Tuna Tech.
And we are the Tech Disruptors. We are two guys that love tech and everything else about the technological world, if you will.
And of course, we try to disrupt it.
We try. I mean, it's just usually us, calling
getting copyright hits and
getting copyright hit like last week. Us trolling people on X.
I sang a Taylor Swift song and it was so good. Taylor said copyright,
Copyright, it's true.
Yeah.
So you missed it. Last week's show, he sang the whole Taylor Swift album.
I don't even know
I was just trying to think of the name of the album. I couldn't even remember. But yeah, we know what we're talking about. Right. So last week, I want to reflash us back. You may remember, for those of you who tune in regularly, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The Cheyenne supercomputer. And we were following the sale of the Cheyenne supercomputer last week.
Nail biter.
It was a nail biter. I think it sold, it was like $480,000 from a $10 million evaluation.
And I had bid about $465 and I was out,
We missed out by money, a few pennies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking, because last week it was fun following that stuff. So I'm like, okay, so that was a $10 million product that sold for $480,000.
But how much was it original cost?
Well, that's it. I mean, $10 million is a lot of money for a supercomputer. But it got me thinking. So what crazy other items are people selling out there for a ridiculous amount of price? Oh, I reckon. Okay, we'll test this theory in a second.
I'm sure there's toenails out there.
Okay, so I frequented probably one of the most bizarre and awesome selling platforms, eBay.
Well, and before we get into that,
yes,
this might be a new segment. We're kind of testing the waters. Unfortunately, I wasn't well prepared, so it's all Darren. But
it's
next
all
week,
me.
Hopefully, we'll be a little more prepared.
And I'm just going to cut to the Mac and Me clip and just be like, I'm just kidding.
And
so anyway, I got me thinking, I'm like, this is an amazing regular segment where we just find some amazing, really rare items on eBay and see how much people are willing to sell them off for. So I, in my frequenting this afternoon, I decided that I was going to check out the collectible category of eBay. Now, one of the things I didn't know about eBay with collectibles is that they have a enormous subcategories of collectibles. And just to give you some basic setup here, they have in their collectible section, they have everything from banks, yes, whole banks, registers and vending machines, bottles, credit and charge cards.
What you collectibles?
Yes, this is a collectible. I guess we have to look at that.
Identity theft.
Emerging NFTs.
That's the whole thing.
I didn't know this was a word. Militaria, which I can only assume is military-based paraphernalia.
Sure. Yeah.
Pez keychains.
Pez keychains? That's very specific.
Now, one of the sections I'm very interested in looking at, there's two of them actually, religion and spirituality. I think you're going to find some great shit there. But also this one, science and medicine from the 1930s to now. Why that's a thing, I don't know. Sewing.
Weird.
Tobacciana, another new word. I'm assuming
name?
No, I'm assuming that's tobacco-related products. But I wanted to start by going to probably one of the more interesting ones I clicked on today, if I can actually find it. So under historical memorabilia, there's lots of like fun things, but the section I'm most interested in is fantasy, mythical, and magical collectibles. So I'm going to
all those things you do believe in. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up on screen so you guys can follow along with us here. I'm going to kind of give you a sense. So as I was going through this, a few things got my attention. Now, okay, the first one was a spirit bell. Now, when I was looking through this, I was like, okay, hang on a second. There's got to be something going on here. So the basic premise of a spirit bell, from what I can understand in this lovely picture here, is a bell that rings on its own. So it's, I guess, remote controlled. And I guess if you wanted to convince people that maybe spirits were in your room or in your building, you
But
would.
how is this under collectibles?
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is a legit bell that conjures up spirits. I mean,
Well, what
underneath
other
is
use would you use for this? I mean, that's a desk bell. So if someone's not available, you tap it and it goes. Why would you need a remote? It's got to be to fake something.
Well, I mean, that would be it. And I mean, look, I mean, we're going to take all this with a grain of salt because you can see the next item along there is a Harry Potter magic caster wand. So,
Oh,
I mean, you know, when we're talking
Yeah.
collectibles, we're really getting into this now. But the
only in
Spirit
Canada.
Bell. So the Spirit Bell here is what you see up on screen. This is the Spirit Bell.
$42? No,
$42.
No, thank you.
Along with a $15 shipping fee to my location.
Well, let's
or
see the
close to
other
it.
images we have up here.
Yeah, so
Is that micro USB or USB Type C?
this looks like micro USB.
That's micro.
Which is hilarious to me. But I want to read you the
Oh my
description.
God! Look, go back up that picture real quick. No,
This
the
one here?
No, keep going up. What the?
Oh yeah, it's just like
Are they
someone
demonstrating how to use them?
yes, a regular bell has been thinged here. Now, okay, what I want to get to is the description
Oh,
here.
God.
So this is a simple desk bell that everyone knows. Okay, cool. But it's remote controlled, and it can be used as a normal bell too, just in case
Ooh.
you're wondering.
2-in-1.
This part here, I don't know. Like, what does this mean?
This model is examinable,
I
which means you can even give it to the spectator to hold in their hand.
Well, yes, I think. Okay, so I guess the whole idea here is that it's meant to be like you meant to say, "Oh, look, I can make this bell ring on its own." Oh, you
Oh
better
my
inspect
God.
it. Oh, it looks like a regular bell. Okay, awesome. So
Place
at
it
your
in
command,
your sock.
in your sock. Can you imagine using your big toe to turn a bell on? That would be amazing.
I'm sorry, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. So okay, now that was just one example. I'm going to go back to.
Did you already buy it?
I didn't. No. I was waiting to see.
Well,
the
at
other
the Tech Disruptor's main office, we'll go ahead and put that in at the front desk.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm more interested in the candle because that shit can light on its own.
It's the same seller.
Say, that's a good question. I'm not
Ooh.
sure. Let's find out. It is the same seller
With
It is the
Spark
same.
Ignition upgrade. Look at that.
Yep.
They've upgraded it for us.
Now, okay, I actually think this would work more as a way to trick people than the bell would.
So it actually lights.
it lights up. It literally is there. There's no more pictures, which is slightly concerning.
It's not a bulb.
It's not a bulb. They improved their own project with the remote control candle with high voltage spark. Increasing the voltage by 40% makes it much easier to ignite. You will also set your whole kitchen on fire and maybe your whole house. But it's a spark and there's no ignition. You don't have to put like any lighter fluid or anything crazy like that there.
Figured out what happened. The candle set their house on fire. And the only thing they have left is that bell and that candle.
Yep.
That's exactly
And
what
now
it
they're
is.
ghost operated. That makes sense. Yeah.
A ghost
so-
upgrade. Okay.
I was just looking through like some of the crazy things that are here and spirit plate slates. I'm assuming. Now, don't quote me on this. I don't know what this is. I'm going to assume you write messages on there. I love this picture. Why is this here? Why does that guy look like a werewolf? I don't know if you can see that picture there.
I don't
Look
see
at the
a
late-
picture of a werewolf.
Oh, it was,
Anyway.
yeah, sorry, my bad. Right here. So the spirit plates, I don't know if you can see.
What the heck is this?
Look at the lady on the left there. She's impressively in the moment. This is happening. But
The girl with the headband?
the girl with the headband right here. I don't know
Yeah,
if you-
that looks creepy.
I believe, now don't quote me on this. The chalkboards, which are blank on both sides, they're placed on top of each other, secured by twine and handed to a spectator. A volunteer secretly picks a card, and the performer waves a piece of chalk over the boards. When the boards are separated, the name of the card has magically been written on the board.
Impossible.
Now, can I please see the video? Because I just realized
I don't know if you want to click on that.
if it brings me to something I don't want to see, I mean, it's YouTube, so I can only assume if we're on there.
Oh,
Okay.
because YouTube is very good at, protect. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
There we go.
For the chalk talker gimmick. You're gonna have a box of chalk like this.
This is impressive to see.
Chalk, of course, because you're gonna use it for the spirit board.
Oh, dude, you can't even get this chalk.
And we're gonna put some chalk. We're gonna give this to the spectator. They're gonna wipe it off. Make sure nothing's on there, both sides.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nothing's on.
I think this is like some basic magic happening right here.
And this side.
I'm impressed already.
Either side.
If we get copyrighted for this shit, I'm gonna be so upset.
So, okay.
Have them take the chalk and coat it with chalk. That way the spirits can communicate with us. They'll have the medium they need to talk.
I am so confused.
Just put a little chalk here.
If he draws a dick on there, I'm gonna be so upset.
I don't think there's a playing card with that on it.
Yeah.
So, give them enough chalk to talk to us with.
This is a long video. Can we just speed this up?
And we'll put the board right there, chalk there.
Yep, we get it. Just
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna
She said
skip ahead.
we left you a medium of chalk on.
Skipping ahead.
And then if you look right there, this is so cold. That's creepy.
I missed
don't-
something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway,
Either way, their spirit boards are very worth the money. Get the candle,
yes,
you get the bell and the spirit. I mean, you have a setup right there. I was going to tell you, last weekend me and my family did an escape room,
yes.
and it was a paranormal escape room.
Oh, okay.
And I
Nice.
think a lot of the tricks are similar to that. Like you hit a few buttons and all of a sudden something went open, or you put these
Right.
statues on these certain things, and the magnetic whatever will turn a radio on. And very similar to that. Someone's back there with there's cameras in every room because they're watching you to make sure you don't need help or anything.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Well, I want to show you just before we move out of this segment. I want to show you my favorite one. Okay, this is quite literally. Give it a second to process.
Hold on. 2024, the little baby hand magician trick close up magic kids props toy C4. What the hell is that?
Okay, so the basic setup here, I'm going to show you a picture of what you see here. It is a realistic silicone baby hand, which you put it on your pinky to make it look like a little baby hand is coming out to grab the coin out of your own hand.
I'm done.
I think this might be my favorite one. This might be the winner for today. I mean, I can see myself doing that, which is actually kind of hilarious. The little hand.
There's a lot of use cases for that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, the price is right. I mean, it's
$1, but you
did
have
you see
$15 shipping.
Trending. 49 have already sold.
Wow.
49. Baby, what's the description? I'm so curious. Hang on a second. Very interesting magic. Just typo, first of all. The hands are taken away by the small hands that do not belong to the magician, and then a small hand appears. Who wrote this? Can you read this?
Very interesting. I can't know.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Basically, very poorly written. And as you can probably imagine, the little baby hand comes to get the thing. And that is the fantasy, mythical, and whatever the hell else it's called edition of weird shit on eBay.
So if you're interested in those objects, look them up. Buy them.
Listen, I'm going to be honest with you. Jason actually bought the baby hand, but for a different kind of reason.
I did.
Yeah.
It's private. I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah. It makes it look huge in that hand. So
it's supposed to be private, but
yeah, I know, but it's okay. It's okay. Speaking of fear and things in the world that scare the shit out of us, are you ever a fan of the TV show Westworld?
Not really.
So I want to just quickly show you something that caught my attention. So there is a factory in China that are creating uncanny humanoid realistic android bots.
Hold on. Sex bot. Sorry,
Yes.
I
Well,
sneezed.
I mean, some of these images would help you believe. I want to show you this image first because this is terrifying. Let me pull this up on screen. This is an image of inside the factory.
It's a pretty cool
Now,
factory.
It's a
It
pretty
really does look
fucking
kinda
cool
cool.
factory. But look on the left there where you see like the top, I guess the top half of the robots.
Mm-hmm.
And like the fully
What's with the
formed
DNA
ones.
strands hanging from the ceiling? I don't get that.
That's some weird Timu esque
Neon light.
neon lighting happening in the back there. But I mean, I can understand why you might think it's a sex robot, but I want to show you what they look like in action because that was a little bit more
Oh,
interesting.
here we go.
I promise you it's not Mac and me. Don't worry. If I can get out of the images, I think I've broken it. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here is the actual factory itself. Let me share my screen. This was a little bit terrifying. I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of this AI stuff we've been talking about a lot.
That's
Let
so
me
weird.
just...
You know what it reminds me of?
Pursuing closest resemblance to humans,
That's Albert Einstein.
EX Future Science and
Battle Angel.
Technology Museum
Yes.
aims to integrate research and development, design, manufacturing, and display, and is closer than ever to achieving its goal.
It feels like entering a scene from a sci-fi movie.
是真人比例的人造仿生人，然后大家可以看到它的皮肤方面呢，我们用的是医用级的仿
So
生
it's
硅胶
medical
材质
grade silicone.
然后皮肤
So
的
it's
细
as
节呢
close to
像
skin as you can
是
get it,
割的
basically.
然后还有一些
Look at that. It even has like the
脚部的一
dimples
些
of
线纹
like
还有
the
手
goose
掌纹
pimple.
大家可以看到上面会有手部的一些掌纹啊，以及手指的指纹，
Those
这些
nails.
我们都会做的很大程度
The
地
hand,
呈
the
现
lines
像
on the
Real.
hand.
Here, you can talk to historical figures,
Now you can kind of tell that's not real.
experience the thrill of a mechanical battle, interact with a robot, and even customize an android of your own.
I'll stand here for 3 minutes. I'll have my physical data collected in the device.
That's super creepy.
Oh, she's
After
on. She's
processing the
turning.
data, parts of me will be printed by a
I guess
3D
it's using
printer
LiDAR
as the first
to kinda-
step to
Yeah.
customize a me. The current products are mainly for exhibition and educational purposes, but the museum is considering to introduce bionic humanoid robots to the service sector and make customized personal robots a reality in the future.
I'll be honest with you. Slightly terrifying.
Well, I would say that probably works better than this thing does.
Was that the rabbit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the poor rabbit. It's had a tough life so far, hasn't it?
You may had it worse, but yeah, they both had. it
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, it's been rough all around, but I know we've talked a lot about these humanoid robots. Now, this one was particularly creepy because it looks, I think I'm more impressed by how lifelike the skin is. I know one of the things they just can't seem to get right with a lot of these AI humanoid robots is the eyes. The eyes are always a giveaway for me. Like I look at them, I'm like,
Movement's
that's not
kind of a
real.
giveaway too, just in general, because it's kind of
Yeah.
like jumpy a little bit, but
But it's getting closer. It's getting closer
Yeah.
to that humanoid reality, right? I
when
know.
ChatGPT and these AI assistants get better, and then they next thing you
It's-
know, Rabbit's going to have an actual humanoid that you can just walk next to and say, "Hey, what's the weather today?" And I'm like, checking for you.
Now, let me ask you this: why do they put hair on these humanoid robots?
to make them look more human.
I know, but why? why do we need that? Maybe that should be the discerning feature.
It's kind of disappointing because even I don't have hair.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm getting at, right? So,
It's not
I mean,
fair.
you might be an AI robot. I mean, we would never know. So, I mean, he's pretty animated. He glitches out sometimes. We've seen.
Yeah,
this.
a little bit sometimes. Yeah.
His voice changes dramatically on mic sometimes.
Yeah.
That was a cue. That was a cue.
I don't think it works anymore.
Oh shit! Oh damn. Okay, I was trying. We tried. It was going to be a sight gag, completely unplanned, as the Tech Disruptors normally is, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why it's not doing anything. Can you, It's not doing anything.
You just sound like normal to me.
Yeah.
Actually, more intelligent. That's super weird.
Huh.
you hit
That
the
is super
AI
weird.
button. Anyway, moving on to actual tech now. I know some fun things have happened this week. This little company named Apple.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yep, she's back. She's back.
Jeez.
There you go. It's okay. We'll get it on the next queue. A little company named Apple released some largely uneventful iPads.
Well,
that
it depends
need-
on who you ask.
Yes.
Because
I
the
mean,
only thing that actually matters, if it ain't Apple, it ain't shit.
shit. True.
So,
Okay, so they did. So okay, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to start by saying this. I actually think the iPads, the whole lineup, is just a fucking clown show right now.
Okay.
Okay, so you've got Pros that are thousands of dollars, iPhone price iPads, which are still
Sure.
running iPad OS, not some kind of native other system,
Okay.
which arguably are still pretty garbage. You've got a Pencil, which basically does everything that the Samsung S24 Ultra stylus does.
Well, and their tablet pen, I believe.
Yes, and tablet pen. And you've got two new
Yeah.
models.
Hold on.
Yep.
But their pen is revolutionary.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
And it's
but anyways,
white.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And two new iPad models that are noticeably heavier than the iPad that's supposed to be lighter than air.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Thin and light. That has never been a selling point to me.
Mhm.
I don't know. I mean, I know tablets, you don't want a chunky tablet, but this is the thinnest Apple device we've ever made. Oh, congratulations. That's all you talked about. I
Yeah.
don't care.
So
Whatever. I
so
get mad about it.
here is where I kind of get my nose bent out of joint a little bit. So I was looking at comparisons between these two devices.
Like the
and-
Air and the Pro.
So no, I'm talking about like the Pro 2022 and the
Oh,
Pro 2024. And Engadget did a really good comparison here, and I just kind of want to pull this up side by side so you can see what I'm talking about here. And it goes through a pretty good overview of what's changed from generation in the last 2 years. So first thing you'll notice here is that it's a little bit bigger, the iPad Pro. I think
And, well, $100,
.001.
$100, $200 more expensive too.
Well, this is the first thing that annoys me. So we can see here that there's been a dramatic jump in price across the board. So right now, the very base model of the iPad Pro, which was $1,099, is now $200 more expensive.
Jeez.
The next tier up is $300 more expensive. Then it goes $500 more expensive. And then they've taken out that $1799 tier from the iPad Pro, and they've jumped right up to a $2299, which is at the very top end of the
So
spectrum.
$100 jump roughly all around.
Yeah. Now, okay, I understand prices have changed in the last couple of years.
Sure.
I get it. But if you look at these specs side by side, besides it being lighter
A
And
newer
maybe-
processor.
and a newer processor and a bit thinner, is there really that much difference? I mean, look at this detail right here. Remember, the previous generation is on the right and the new
Mhm.
generation is on the left.
Yeah.
So-
well, the storage is different. On the base model is 256. I mean, that makes it
Yeah.
a little different, but
Yep.
it also takes away from, if they would have included a 128, they could have had a price point at $999.
Yes.
But anyways, I
get it.
digress.
I
So
know,
wait a minute.
you're right.
Last year's had 2 cameras in the back, and now they just have 1?
That is correct. The new 12.9-inch iPad Pro 2024.
You know what's sad?
Oh.
I had the 2022 Pro, and I don't even remember it had 2 cameras.
There you go, right? So,
Yeah, because
goes
we
to
use them a
show-
lot.
But, I mean, really?
Yeah, you're right. Nothing's changed. Oh,
Nope.
new keyboard. So now you got to buy a whole nother $350 keyboard.
Yeah, new accessory, which is, again,
The new
another
pencil. The new pencil's what,
pencil.
$129? I swear.
Yep. Yep. And again, like a similar story with the smaller version, besides it being smaller.
know what, though?
and,
Maybe we're being too harsh because while I don't think Apple has the best practices in a lot of things, they are
Yeah.
a business and they are making lots of money doing it. So
Of
we can
course.
sit here and say this is stupid.
You can
But
throw stones. I get it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but Apple does it, Samsung does it. You know,
Yeah.
maybe not to the same extreme,
Yes.
but yeah. I mean, it still doesn't make sense. I think they made this big. And
Let me
after
ask
I
you
saw
this.
their latest commercial, though, I'm definitely thinking about buying it. You know,
Oh, I'll come back to that. Don't worry. We're going to touch on that in a second. But look, so I don't know if you noticed this, but what do you notice here in this equation?
right? Bigger battery, same time. You know what that is, don't you? The M4 is probably a little bit more power hungry.
Yes.
And what's
so
funny
you're
is
actually,
when you watch this thing and they compare the chips, they're always like, it's 20% faster than the M1. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucking 3 years newer. It should be faster. And 20% isn't that much.
what's the reason for omitting the ultra wide?
You know, I'll be honest. I have cameras on every tablet and I very rarely ever use them but the front one. And I just don't think people use it. And
Okay.
I think the biggest benefit that the new Pro has is I believe they moved the front camera where it always should have been in the first place.
Yes.
Landscape in the fucking middle.
Yes. Yeah. Which I guess that's where all their money went to, right?
And they spent a little bit of time talking about that. They're like, and we even moved the camera. It's even better. Yeah, because every other Android tablet and every tablet in the world has it that way. Even laptops do that.
Yeah. And
don't know.
I mean, look, across the board, I don't want to like get dinged for copyright here, but I'll just kind of show a little bit of what's going on.
No.
But okay, so actually, let me pull up the thing. I'm just want to kind of give us a sense of what they look like first of all, because it's worth talking about their thinness. I think.
They were big on the thinness, and I don't understand why, because everyone was complaining that the S8 Ultra, the Tab 8S, and the Tab 9 from Samsung was
Yes.
just too thin, and it was too big. Well, Apple does it, and they're like, oh, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I mean, look, there are a lot of nice things about the new iPad. The OLED screen, I'm sure it's fantastic. I'm sure it looks amazing.
But doesn't Samsung tablets have, don't they have the
Yeah.
same thing already?
Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm concerned about here is this, right? Here is 2 new iPads with a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
What is the iPad trying to do? Are they trying to be a MacBook replacement?
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Okay. They make MacBooks, right? Which is a laptop. You get it, screen, keyboard, everything. What the iPad has become is kind of iconic, and it's a cash cow. They're going to charge you, let's say you buy the middle of the road iPad Pro, the big one. You were spending what, $1,800, $1,900, right?
Yeah.
Then you're going to spend another $350 on the keyboard because you got to have the keyboard and trackpad. And then you're like, well, hell, I can draw on this. And so you're looking at almost over $2,000 for a tablet with a keyboard, whereas a laptop you can get for $600, $800, $900,
Yeah.
and they're not making as much money. Now, Apple has good hardware. I'm not trying to knock on them. I'm not a fan of iPad OS. I'm
Yeah.
not saying Android's better, but I do like Samsung DeX better.
Right.
That's
But that's a
my personal
feature,
preference.
right?
It's a
That's
feature, but
yeah.
but not necessarily, because I think when you have the keyboard connected, it automatically goes into DeX mode when you open it.
Right. Okay.
Now you can change that, but that's what it is set up by default.
Now, again, I mean, we were talking about this before we went on air, and the thinness means nothing to me. It
Same here.
really doesn't. I've always said, and I've said this about phones as well, I would rather it be a little thicker. I prefer more battery than the form factor being ultra thin.
Well, they're showing off their technology. Hey, we could
They
fit all this
are.
in a tiny package. Awesome.
Yeah.
But you could have put a bigger battery in there, better cameras, better
Yeah.
speakers. All girth gives no pun intended. Don't
Girth.
go anywhere with that. But girth gives you more options on the inside. So
Yes.
That's what she
and
said.
well, that's definitely right. Yeah. I mean, you want it to fill the space is the kind of the idea. But I do
iPad,
want to
right. Fill your space in your desk. I get what you're saying.
right.
Yeah,
You
sure,
get it?
Sure.
Right? But I mean, looking at some of these images, like, I mean, it's impressively thin. Like, I'll pull up this one here, which I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, how that was going to translate. But
That's not the right one. That's got 2 cameras. I got 2 cameras on the back of that one.
yeah, that's the last year's one. Shit, sorry, I'm sorry. I was just
It's
looking
fine.
at,
Either way, but that's still
Yeah.
pretty damn thin.
It is. It really, really is. And again, what's the drive? I just don't know. What is Apple? Why is Apple pushing this thinness form factor? What's the end goal here of
how else can you market a slab phone or a tablet? You can't say, oh, we got the screen. Yeah, because everyone's got a screen. So they're going to say, oh, we got the thinnest tablet. Or even the processor. They talked about it, but they didn't make it sound like it. Like they say ray tracing. Every chipset in the last 2 years has ray tracing. It's just not every manufacturer utilize it or app developer utilize it. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and I think the Gen 3 both have ray tracing. It's just not a big deal. You know what I want to see? We have Apple pushing this iPad OS. I'm waiting for the Snapdragon Windows.
Yes.
If they can pull it off, and what I've been seeing, I think Apple's a little scared. That's why they're pushing the M4. Like they released a brand new chip that's supposed to be made for desktops and laptops. They first released it into a tablet.
Yeah.
To me, now, I know Apple's got a lot of money, but if you're $1 trillion company and you lose $1 million, you're losing money. So I think they're scared. I think, and people might disagree with me, but I think they're scared and they're trying to grasp at straws to see what sticks. And they're trying to make new trends. Vision Pro wasn't successful. Apple's losing their walled garden from all these lawsuits. And now they have a tablet that's so oversized. And I'll tell you, I'm going to buy it now because it's ultra thin and light. And
with that baby hand you have, it's going to fucking feel huge.
I know. It's going to look like a big screen. It's like the IMAX.
Yeah.
And then I'm telling you, you're going to show the commercial later, right?
Yes.
You guys who are watching and maybe watching later on, and if you're listening, go and look us up. This video is going to sell you. You are going to want to go out and buy a tablet.
Now I can't
smash a lot of shit.
I can't show too much of it because of copyright, but I will show
a commercial.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we get dinged for that. But
that's on. No, I don't know. But I'm not sure about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let's just do it and see what happens. Anyway, how many dings can we get before we get blocked?
Well, I mean, we're not showing we're just showing an advertisement.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
Well, I just said if you watch the video, you're going to buy one.
Well, let me come back to the commercial because I wanted to talk something about that did catch my attention. So they've released, a bit like the S24 Ultra earlier this year, the iPad Pro, I think the largest version, the top end ones, have this new nano textured glass.
Do you like how they do that? They add one small thing to make something better, and they put it on the highest end device they have. So you think, I'm going to be left out unless I spend an extra $500. I swear.
So this image might represent it or it might not, but basically, if you can imagine a matte screen protector on your iPad, it would be the best way to describe this. Essentially reduces fingerprints, probably a little easier on the pen to glide, I would imagine. A little silkier, maybe, is a good way to put it. But essentially, they've got this new matte nano textured fucking film or whatever the hell it is, part of the glass.
A screen protector. No.
Screen protector. Is it a screen protector or is it the actual glass?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, so they're saying that this is their big, headlining feature to make it more accessible, easier to see. I mean, sure, the new iPads have ProRes and ProMotion and, up to 2 terabytes, and the M4 chip. But a lot of people were talking about this and it got my attention, right? I'm like, okay, so people are obviously interested in this whole matte, contrasty, killing, deal that they've got going on here right now with the iPad and the S24 Ultra. So I'm somebody that has a matte screen protector on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I've had it on there since day one. Love it because, again, it doesn't show fingerprints. You're not constantly wiping the screen. But agreeably, it does kill image quality, right? Blacks don't seem as black. Colors don't seem as vibrant. That's a screen protector
you put on top. This is probably built in.
Yes. Now, here is my question. What happens if you buy this and you hate it? Do you return it within 15 days like another tech YouTuber?
If you're an Apple person, it doesn't matter. You're going to stick with what they give you because you don't have a choice.
Fair. I mean,
that's what I would. I know it's not like an Apple hater right now, but that's the truth.
Well, I know Dalvon Digital, who's one of our regular people on Tech Disruptors. He uses matte screen protectors on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I get it. Matte screen protectors serve, again, reduces fingerprints, glare.
Never
easy to
used
see
one.
in them. I mean, it's not everybody's cup of tea. It gives it a kind
I
of
just don't like screen protect unless they come pre-installed. I don't put them on because they're a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that really happens is, I mean, it's a bit more grainy.
Yeah,
Maybe is the term.
I agree. Yeah.
But is it worth the extra money? Like, could
I
you
have to
not
see
just
it.
put? So, I mean, could you not just put a matte screen protector on it?
We have to see it in person. I don't know
Yeah.
what it actually is. I didn't hear that at the event. I only caught bits and pieces of it because I was kind of busy.
Yeah.
All I kept hearing was thin, light, and
Yeah.
we're fast as hell. We're the best. Stuff like that.
Now, I mean, the interesting thing here is the Lightning port's gone. That was originally on the 2022 iPad Pros, so they've gone now, switched that over as well.
I thought that was C. That was Lightning?
Was it C? Maybe it was.
I think
Hang on a
other
second.
laptops. Well, maybe not. I don't remember. I thought that it was a Type C. Either way, Type C is not a big innovation.
No, exactly. No. I mean, there is a lot to like, right? If you look at this little spreadsheet of details here, you've got your, yeah, no, the classic.
They started it. Now everyone does this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I actually like. I'll be honest with you. For a product release, it's good to get it in a nice, condensed, summarized.
It's your hot words, and your look. I'm telling you, Apple people don't care about they unleashed a bunch of creator tools, and I was like, why are they doing this? That's such a small niche use case, but there's grandpas buying this. They're never going to create a video, and they're going to buy this device, and they're going to love every minute of it because it's an Apple device. So
and. So this is the thing, right? These are the newest iPads. It's the Pro models. It's kind of like the Pro Maxes of the iPhone world. People are going to buy them even though they are ridiculously overpriced, and arguably so.
I think if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you don't have a choice. And they know that. And that's why that walled garden is so important to them, because Apple, they're good devices. Don't get me wrong. I've had a couple of the Pros. But I'm not in the ecosystem. So I don't have the watch. I don't have the earbuds. I don't have the headphones. I have a watch, or I have the phone only. And for me, Android device tablets, better or worse, fit my needs better. And I've never had, there's a couple people on X, I'm not going to call any names out, that have been kind of poking the bear, saying, well, if you think the new iPads are dumb, you're an idiot. Or, if someone said they give their Android tablets to their kids until they're like 5 or 6 to make sure they don't break it, and then when they get older, they buy them a real tablet, and then they'd say, "Oh, that's the only thing Android tablets are good for." People like that.
Yeah,
it's called being closed-minded, and I think that's stupid. But I'm not going to call any names out. So
I wanted to go and check out the iPads. Why is this open? Sorry, that was I actually did not have that open at all.
You have it ready, don't you?
No, I actually clicked. I had a YouTube open as one of my favorites on there. Hang on a second. Okay, now we're good. Okay, I wanted to go and check out these iPads today at the Apple Store. They didn't have them on display yet, so they weren't.
They don't come out till next week, right?
Yeah, but usually around usually have them on displays. Like they start drum up the interest. There was nothing there, of course. But you did mention something that I thought was slightly hilarious, and that was Apple's own little commercial that they.
Now, before you show it,
yes,
did you see it?
I did.
Have you heard the backlash?
I have.
Do you agree or disagree with the backlash?
What's the backlash over? Because I couldn't quite get to the heart of it.
From what I understand, you got to see the video. We're going to show it, or the video, the commercial. There's a platform with a piano, a bunch of like a record player, a bunch of paint, like just stuff that people use to create. And then it's on an industrial press, and it just slowly presses everything and breaks it. And then when the press opens up, there's an iPad there, basically saying, "Hey, all that stuff you did can now be done in this." The backlash comes in. It's like, Apple's a big company. They're $1 trillion company. They've got a lot of influence, and they're saying, "Hey, forget all that old,
boring stuff.
It's not worth anything. Let's all put it in a slab." And a lot of people are against that, and I get that. It's an over. I mean, everyone's jumping on this.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, I understand the premise, but people nowadays are very sensitive.
I'm just going to play it. So it's
Apple's not your friend. They're a business.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I know there are people that live and die by Apple releases. They
like
are.
you.
And if
I know you do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you go on X right now and you type in Apple, you're going to find 1,001 people who are saying it's the greatest thing ever. And then you're going to find 1,001 people who are saying this is garbage.
And what's funny is a lot of people go on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, whatever, and they'll say iPad sucks.
Yeah.
And they'll get a reaction. Or you hear people say iPad's the best. And they do that to get a reaction.
Yes.
I don't know if that's part of this whole backlash, but like The Verge said, I was listening, what was I listening to this? Some radio show on the way home from work, and they were talking about it. And people are like, they reached out to Apple for comment, and Apple refused to comment. It's like, I don't think Apple even has to grasp of what the hell happened, because they have a advertising agency that's making this, and Tim Cook's like, oh great, okay, you done it before, we're not even gonna look at it, and shot it out. And it's not bad on first glance, but we live in a society where our butt gets hurt over a lot of things. I
actually don't think they care.
They don't.
I just don't. I honestly don't think they care.
If you had $1 trillion and you lost $1 million because of a commercial,
tax write-off.
That's right? Yeah, that's like $1. I
know. I mean, again, I honestly think, like you said, I think this is rubber stamped. Like you said, Tim Cook goes, "Oh, yep, sure. You want to make a commercial about how thin it is? Awesome." Here you go.
After I watched the commercial and I stopped crying, it really wasn't that bad. I cried a little bit.
Yeah, but, I mean, you cry at the little squishy balls getting crushed.
Well, no, that was my piano. I borrowed it too. They said they wanted to play some music, and they didn't tell me they were going to crush it, but maybe they'll give me an iPad to replace it,
Well, here is what I wanted to know. So remember when their iPhones came out, and the most recent ones, the 15 series,
okay,
and they pushed that big environmental angle. Like that were like that video, the Mother Nature video, all that shit.
About the charging and everything too?
Yeah. So my thing is, I watched the release thing here. There wasn't a huge focus on the environment for the iPad, not as much as it was on the iPhone.
Maybe because they realized people don't care.
Yeah, well,
and like that, but
I mean, look, let's call a spade here. I mean, I think there is some recycled material in here, and I probably got that wrong.
And maybe they just didn't mention it a whole lot like they have in the past. Like Google comes out and says our cases and it's 95% recycled aluminum. Recycle titanium? Is there recycled titanium?
I don't even fucking know. I mean, I somewhere in here, I'm sure there is some environmental. It says here 100% recycled aluminum in the enclosure.
I think the screen is actually a recycled Samsung big screen they cut into 4s.
Right.
Then,
right.
It
makes sense. Right. Yeah. Right. They took all those Note 7s and they just took all the screens off them and just glued them together. And here we go. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like the environmental focus just wasn't as overwhelming as the iPhone release, which I guess there are probably a lot more iPhones than there are iPads in the world, which kind of makes sense. But in the same breath, it's an interesting change of perspective a little bit. It wasn't so in your face. I think we could all agree that the iPhone release was very, here's Mother Nature, screw everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They even hire, remember.
The iPad, I mean, one thing that kind of threw me off was they're like, hey, it's 20% more cool. Well, yeah, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
There's no way it could dissipate. You can't dissipate heat with an aluminum slab that's 14 inches long. I'm not trying to knock on them because there's a lot of Apple fans are probably people saying, oh, you're an idiot. I don't care. I mean, I'll end up trying it, maybe purchasing it, but I just can't get into that. I don't get into the iPad OS. I just can't.
So besides Apple, there's another multi-million-dollar, maybe trillion-dollar company that you may have heard of, Google.
Alphabet, yeah, Google.
Alphabet. And Google just released their lovely Google Pixel 8a.
And what day did they release that? The same day as the iPad. You think they're trying to steal the thunder of a $2,000 iPad with a $500 phone?
I'm going to be honest with you. It ain't going to eclipse the iPad Pro. It's just not.
Well, no. Well, yeah, you're right. It won't. There's no buts. Yeah.
So I am fortunate enough that I got the device early from right here. You can see that on screen.
From who?
From Google.
Oh, nice.
I've had it in my hand now for a couple of days. And while I'm under embargo, there's a couple of immediate observations I would like to make. I can see the design language. I can see where this year's Pixel Pros are going to be going. They're going to be these curvy, rounded, slabby type devices. The Pixel 8a reminds me a lot, ironically, of another Apple device. And arguably one of the more popular Apple devices that have ever come out. And I just want to see, I want to show you an image of what I'm referring to here. So here is the phone in question.
I believe that. Oh, well.
So take away the Apple logo, take away the notch. Arguably,
you're talking about the roundedness of it, right?
Yeah, the very rounded design of the Pixel 8a is very reminiscent of the iPhone XR.
But we were talking about this before the show, and most companies copy each other. It's either going to be a round corner or a sharp corner.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your haters and detractors. I don't think it's a slight on Apple, like they're trying to copy Apple.
No.
I think Google's trying to be different, but the same.
Yes.
Kind of like their slogan.
Yeah, kind of like their slogan. Yes, that is correct.
Because they have I say iconic, but the camera bar that we all know might be a little different, maybe a little bigger, but it's definitely a visor that they've had for the last 2 or 3 years. And they round the corners. What's going to be interesting is if the Pixel 9, 9 Pro, and if they have this 9 Pro XL and the Pixel 9 Fold or whatever they're going to call it, they're going to be as rounded.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like the design.
It looks good in that picture. I like that color.
It looks good in pictures. It does. But ergonomics-wise, it's very, very slippery.
Part of your embargo is you can't show it on screen?
I can show you the outside. That I can do.
Well, I don't want you tearing it apart and showing me the inside.
No, that's okay. Here is... I'm not going to show while I'm
Can you hold it like that picture? I'm kidding.
But here is like the basic. I'm just I'm going to show you the basic. Yeah, I got the matte black version.
Now is the visor black too, or is that like a steel
It is all
brush?
matte, so it's all brushed.
I don't think that looks bad, but I think the green or what they call it, the aqua or whatever they're calling it. I think that's better, but it's me.
It's super slippery. Like it's like holding it in one hand. There's no grip on the sides. That brushed aluminum on the sides is already slippery.
Is this the nail in the coffin for the A series?
It might be the sunset of the A series.
So maybe one more year.
Maybe. I think it would be dependent.
Here's the problem.
on...
There's not enough. Like you said this before. There's not. I don't know if you. I never had the A.
Yes.
8A, but the 6A. There's not enough differentiation between their normal series, except for the fact that they come out earlier. They're built, obviously the quality is a little better. They have slightly better cameras and screens, but same processor, same memory, wireless charging. I mean, yes, you have slight differences, but I think it was an MKBHD or one of those guys made a comment. It's like, you can get the 8 for what, $549 US, and this is $499. Now, Google Fi sent me an email, and I can get this for $200 off.
Yeah.
So at that deal,
that's a better price. Yeah,
it's not too bad. But I don't know.
Well,
I had the 6A. I never had the 7A, but it was a good phone. And like MKBHD said, the 7A I think was the one that won the ELO Pixel Challenge, and that's good. But the price is not right. We talked about this. If it was $399, $349.
Oh, absolutely.
This would be the best. Only mid-range Android phone I'd actually endorse because of the cameras.
And I said to you off the air, I mean, it has all of the greatness about the 8 series. So it has the voice to text. It has all the AI features. It even has the software stuff. It even has the face unlock authentication stuff.
Can you talk about the cameras?
I've only taken a few photos, but I can give you the basic gist of it. As good as last.
I mean, are they good?
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
So it's nothing so it's typical Google. Like if you go out in the world with a cheap OnePlus 12R,
yeah,
and you walk out with this, you're guaranteed you're going to get a hell of a better picture on a Pixel device.
Yes,
flat out.
Agreed.
And it's always 99.8% of the time you're going to get a good picture with a Pixel device.
Yeah. So
that's a selling point.
It is a selling point. I mean, I still have to do a lot more testing, and I've only been using it solidly for like a day and a half now. But there's a lot to like about it. Is it an arguably better device than the 8, the regular 8? I think for some people that $50 or $100, that's the difference, might be enough for people to say get the 8A instead. It's $100 in your pocket instead of $100.
What is Google's price for the pre? Is there a special on Google for pre-order?
I think there is. I think I saw something today, and for the life of me, I don't know if I have it here, but there was a promotion that came out today. I know they had it for the Pixel tablet, but I did see somewhere along the line here.
I know, like I said, Google Fi had $200 off. Amazon's giving it with a $100 gift card, and that's not bad. You're saving $50 over the 8. And you're getting a $100 gift card, but I'd rather just say take $100 off the phone. I'm looking at it right now. Pre-order here in the U.S. It says buy the new Pixel and get $100 Google Store credit.
Yeah.
So I guess I mean with that you can get. It's like Samsung. You can get maybe a charger, or a case. But yeah, $499 is just It says get extra $300 back on a Pixel 8A when you join Google Fi. So if you're a new Google Fi customer, you can actually get it for what, $200? Which that's a good deal.
That's a great deal. That's
if you have a trade-in. If you have a trade-in, let's say you're rocking the 7.
Yeah.
Would this be a good upgrade to the 7?
I would say so. I mean, it has the Tensor G3 is arguably a better chip. So
if you have the basic Google Pixel 7 128 and it's in good condition, they'll give you $170.
Google's trade-ins are the worst.
Holy crap! You know what? I was trying to go to bat for him. But
no. I mean, look, I think that the rounded design is here to stay for a little bit. I don't
mind a rounded design.
No, me either. I don't particularly care for the slipperiness of the aluminum rails because it's it's a little bit harder to hold.
It's plastic, right, or composite?
Composite, I think, off the top of my head.
I mean, that doesn't help us. If it had a matte texture to it, it may not slip out of the hand. What was that? The 5? Remember how the 5 felt? Was it the 5? That was a good phone. Yeah.
So, I mean, again, more evaluation is needed on the Pixel 8a, but the only thing I've noticed so far that is worth mentioning, the speakers seem better. They seem kind of louder. Little more quality maybe there, which might just be a placebo effect because I haven't had a Pixel in my hand for a little while. So,
you know what I'm happy about the most?
Yes.
Is that Google is actually sticking with making a brand. For a while there, the Pixel 3, 4, and 5, they changed everything. So it was a flagship. Then it had a bathtub notch. Then it was a mid-range phone. And they've kind of bounced around. And that's typical Google. They throw everything out there to see what sticks. I'm glad that they have an identity with the visor, and they're kind of trying to stay with the same recipe. Like, we're going to release the 6, then the 6A, then the 7, then the 7A, and it's like a gap. So they're trying to make that money, and that's, again, they're a business. They're going to cash out on the flagships, and they're going to throw a mid range in the middle. I'm excited for the 9. I don't think the Tensor G4 is going to be.
Nothing.
Honestly, I had the Pixel Fold still. I don't have a Pixel 8 Pro anymore, and I miss the camera. I really do.
Yeah,
now,
it's a great.
I have the Vivo. I love this. This is my favorite phone.
Yeah,
but Google software is just.
It is. And look, I mean, there are things I miss about it, like the Pixel, the fluidity, a lot of the AI features work really well. Call screening, all of that stuff is still there. And
Pixel's my first love, and this is like my new love interest. But I'm thinking about my ex.
Yeah, basically,
it sounds bad, but
fair. Yeah. Now Google I/O is coming up next week.
The
The
15th or 14th. Yep.
14th, yeah. Now, here's the question, right? So they're going to be talking a little bit about AI. Are they going to blend
A little bit.
Well, are they going to just blend Gemini and the Google Assistant? Is this it?
Well, someone made a comment. I don't know who it was. I keep watching these videos. They all blur together. Why do we have two apps? We have an assistant and a Gemini app. I don't get why. And when I ask, well, I think I set it up. But when I say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to hit. Gemini opens up and it talks in a man's voice. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the voice is matched to the person of the love interest of the person who owns the phone.
Oh, good one.
Sorry.
No, I don't mind Gemini. It's working just as fine as the Google Assistant, so it doesn't bother me. But I would. Why have two?
Exactly. I don't know. I think it's going to happen there. I think they're going to announce it. I think it'll come with the 9 series. Is probably my bet. I don't
once
think
the 9 comes out and after Google I/O and Apple releases their whatever AI they're going to borrow from whoever, these products right here
gone
are going to have a harder time. I will tell you in a quick. I know we're almost done here. This device got another update today, and if you had a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a smartphone with all its trappings and 1 being worthless, it's about a 3.5 now.
Okay, so it's rising. It's getting.
It recognizes my GPS location now.
Oh, that's helpful. You know, out of the box. I mean, that would have been helpful.
I'll give you an example. So you can say, "Hey, what's my weather in my location?" And at first, my God, it says we do not recognize location. We can't utilize GPS. Well, they didn't update, and I'm sitting at work, and I live in Ohio. For those who don't know, and I'll say, "What's the weather in my location?" And it would say, "The weather in Detroit, Michigan." I'm like, "What the." I'm not in Detroit, Michigan. So I got another update, and I did it again, and it said, you are in unknown Illinois.
Oh. Okay.
But today, I went outside. Apparently, the GPS is kind of finicky. It needs like a direct sight. So if you're in a building, it kind of struggles. It's not very strong. But yeah, anyways.
I mean, I get it. I mean, this is a first-gen product, and they probably borrowed parts and pieces from all over the place to make this happen, which is probably the reason why. I'm interested to see. I think you might be right. I think it's going to be interesting to see. I think one thing we might see, though, at I/O, I think they're going to give us a hint at the Pixel Fold 2. I'm calling it now.
You know what, though? Last year, they gave us everything before, remember?
Yes,
I think it's in their best interest to give us teasers on all of them. You got to keep our appetite ready.
That's exactly right, yeah.
It worked. The tablet, I have it. I don't think it's that great. It basically is a smart home assistant for me. I don't use it as a tablet. But I think that's the phone I'm excited about the most. Yes, the 9 Pro XL is great, but I like the Pixel Fold. I still have it. I'm excited for this new one. I don't care what they call it. People can bitch about the name.
Well, good question here. Did you hear that the Vivo X Fold 3 is getting a global release this week?
No.
Yeah. So the Vivo X Fold 3 and 3 Pro.
I heard that. I heard the Oppo. What? Not the Oppo. Is it the Oppo? No, the Vivo X100 Ultra comes out next week.
Correct.
But I don't know if it's gonna be global. I heard Honor Ultimate. Did you hear this? The Ultimate Edition now. What the hell? It's gonna have a camera like no one's ever seen before.
Well, we'll see. I mean, you and I both had the 6 Pro. It was okay.
It was good. It wasn't great.
Yes. I am curious I reckon they're going to launch the X100 Pro Ultra next to the Vivo X Fold 3. I think they're going to go side by side.
I don't think the Ultra's going to go global though.
No. I mean, someone put a post out there this morning saying, "Is it really Ultra if it only has 3 cameras?"
I know who you're talking about. I like him. He's good. Yeah. I saw that. I don't. How many does this have? 3? I don't care how many cameras it has. What makes it unique is the kind of camera sensors it has.
Yes, that 1-inch sensor.
You know what's going to happen? Yeah. The Vivo X200 Pro is going to come out next year. This is stupid.
Yeah,
like these phones take a huge leap, and then they kind of just like slow down.
Well, the 1-inch sensor on that Vivo X100 Pro is undoubtedly one of the better cameras.
The Xiaomi was good though too. That phone was fantastic. It just was unwieldy.
Yes,
and it's way too overpriced.
Yeah. And I mean, arguably, like the Vivo X100 Pro, you can pick that up for under $1,000 now, and that's
And the
like,
software, at least here in the US, North America,
is good.
is like everything else. The Honor and the Xiaomi have some weird. You have to swipe down from both sides. It's just it's just not a standard scan that I can get around.
The Vivo almost feels Motorola-ish to me, where it's almost stock, but just a few little tweaks here and there. To
But it's stock enough that if you're used to stock,
yes,
you can get around.
You'd be okay. Yeah. Well, listen, that actually brings us to the end of another amazing episode of the Tech Disruptors. I am going to go buy myself a baby finger attachment.
And I'm going to buy myself an iPad Pro 2 terabyte.
Yes. And we're going to do a joint video where I'm using the baby finger to control the iPad Pro 2 terabyte to see what happens.
I'm asking for donations, though, to pay for it. And I promise you guys lots of videos.
Yes, and please make sure you donate to Tuna's cause there. He would love to be funded by his followers. And he promises and he promises that he will not return it a week later, claiming there was something wrong with it. But on that note, we managed to make it through an entire episode without one Mac and Me reference. I'm a little disappointed.
Oh, you had it on call, though. I saw what you were trying to do.
Yeah, it was open.
I think you ratted yourself out.
I did rat myself out. I fucked up on the tabs, but that's okay. But that's okay. We can live with 1 week without that particular clip. It'll just make it extra special next week. We'll do 2.
What's next week? Are we doing Thursday or Fridays so everyone can?
I have to check my schedule, but I think we might be heading back to Fridays. Really
Seems
soon.
like people enjoy Fridays.
I think so too. Yeah, people seem to like Fridays. I also had a couple of requests for us to go back to our original theme song, believe it or not. Those messages came through earlier in the week.
Really?
I forgot to mention it to you. Someone on X had reached out and through a DM and said, "Hey, why did you guys change your theme song?" And I just explained to him. I said, like, I had a nice, lovely conversation with the artist Little Dicky, and he's.
Why don't we go back and forth? Can we go back and forth one and one? I mean,
I think a remix is in the motion. We need to find someone. Yeah, we need to find somebody who can remix these 2 songs together. If you're out there, send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
That would be great.
Yeah, or it's just going to be me playing the trumpet right into the microphone the entire.
Do you have a trumpet?
No, not at all.
I actually have one.
Well, my trumpet got crushed by the Apple machine. So now,
and I was going to play piano with it, and then mine got crushed too.
See, we could have had our own theme song, but anyway, on that note, we will wrap it up there. Thank you very much for tuning in to Tech Disruptors. We are available on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere where the podcast company is not getting shut down, like Google Podcasts. We're probably there too. But we will catch you guys next week, and